We waited weeks. We waited months. Some even waited a year. But it is finally done. The contract is signed. It's time to reflect on what's going on and the fact that Mo is here for another 2 years. Big up yourselves, everyone. Stay tuned. Let's get into it.
Shout out to Kopish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
Keep all the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that, guys. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys.
Kopish.
Yes, big up yourselves, everyone. Welcome back to Kopish and welcome to a little Liverpool Avengers Assemble panel show that I wanted to put together for you guys to just basically talk about Mo. I don't think we talked about it enough yesterday. I don't think anybody's really been speaking about it enough. The king
Drift. I heard the Ops are doing emergency streams.
Oh, are they?
They're doing emergency streams, bro. They're not happy right now, bro. They're not happy.
You know, well, like Premier League footballers can't believe he's staying as well. You know what I'm saying? Left backs and right backs across the country are shaking in their boots. You know what I'm saying? Centre backs are doing bits. So let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. On this esteemed panel today, I got my boy Errol. I think this might be the debut, right?
Yes, yeah, man. This is the first time.
That's crazy. That's actually terrible. That's
mad.
On our end for that one, brother. You know what I'm saying? And then we've got the one and only Ends in the building. What's going on, bro?
Big up, man. Appreciate the invite as always, man. Big up to the chat as well.
Come on, man. And then we've got our brother, Kopish extended family, Mr. Jamie Phillips in the building. What's happening, bro?
Oh, good, man. I love being in title races with Arsenal. What can I say?
Well, I'm sure we can touch on that for a second. In fact, let's just get that out of the way, actually. What did you lot think of their draw with Brentford? It kind of looked like they didn't really care, as in they know we've won the league, right? That's pretty much.
Well, I hope they do that on Wednesday as well because they're going to get smashed. So, yeah.
Jay's got a little theory about Real Madrid. I'm not so positive. I think they're through.
No, when they didn't wear white on Tuesday, you know. When they wear white, they're a different team. I keep telling you.
Nah, Arsenal going to get moved up at the Bernabeu, bro. They're gonna find out.
Are we 2 for 2? So that's two people who think that Arsenal's gonna lose the game. No, because remember, guys, they can lose the game and go through, though. Remember, they've got to lose by 4 goals if they go out.
What if it goes like 4-1 and then they lose on a little penalty thing?
I'll be honest with you. I hate to give Arsenal credit. Madrid can't put 4 past Arsenal in one game.
Thomas Partey looks like he's injured.
Really?
That's a big blow. It was precautionary, though, right? Was it?
No, Arteta said he's got a niggle. He felt something.
Mind games, that's all mind games. That.
Oh yeah, Arteta lies. Yeah,
mind games.
No, but he lies a lot. Though he's known for it. I think it's one of them. If I wouldn't have seen, obviously I was at footy, so I've seen the highlights back. It looked again. Obviously, the highlights is a bit of a clipping and it's a bit of a package, but it looked to me as though Arsenal could have probably got 4 or 5 against Real Madrid. It didn't. There was only a couple of Madrid chances in that first half. It looked like it was pretty much one-way traffic. Now, not to compare maybe apples and oranges, but when we played Barca and they beat us 3-0, it still felt like how have we not come away from their ground with a goal. You know, Salah put in one of his best European performances that he had put in for Liverpool up until that point, if you ask me. It was just very unlucky on the night that we just couldn't get the ball over the line, which is why I always had hope that at Anfield we'd move to them and we could do something. Whereas I can't say Real Madrid can kind of hold a hat on that. I don't think if I was a Real Madrid fan at this stage, I'd thought we've done enough to show we could still get at the Arsenal team and we can cause the problems.
Yeah. Very true. No, you're right, bro. I genuinely don't think Real Madrid have got enough about them. I know Jay and Ends, I get what you boys are saying about the Bernabeu, because the Bernabeu is that type of place. And maybe Madrid will win on the night, but they're not going to win by the 3 goals or the 4 goals that they need.
It's just pure hate, mate. That's what it is.
Oh, I hear you, bro.
Don't get it twisted. Jamie, if Real get 2 in the first half,
it's game on.
Yeah, it's game on completely. All bets
Just
are off.
take it back to when you saw them play Chelsea, City and stuff like that, played us. You can see how quickly these guys can score goals. And I get it. Arsenal defensively have been good. But you're talking about the Bernabeu, you're talking about Gabriel missing, potentially Partey missing. We would have to kind of wait and see what that looks like. And then it's going to be Arsenal don't have their fans behind them as well, pushing them within the game. So that momentum of them like going like, let's dig in, let's do this, let's carry on. The fans are cheering. It's going to be the opposite way around. And all it takes is moments. You saw, and Errol's right, Arsenal could have won by 5 or 6, but also Real Madrid had moments where they should have punished Arsenal. There was a few moments in the first 20 minutes when their defender just kept falling over, slipping. You're like, a better pass or a better touch or whatever it may be, a better finish maybe as well, they could have had a goal as well. Real Madrid with them, you never know when they're going to score. You just blink of an eye, click of a finger, they're 2-0 up, 3-0 up, and you're just like, raw, game's done. And that's what Arsenal have to contend with. Arsenal has a good lead, don't get me wrong. It's down to them now. But the pressure will be there. And if Real Madrid get 1 and then get 2 back, you've seen it. We've done it. You've seen us against, Barcelona, where we come back. We got 1, then we got 2. Then you just saw the flow and everything changing the game. But let's see, man. Let's see.
Yeah, man. I hear what you lot are saying. I think that Real Madrid that we're thinking about, though, boys. I think that was the Toni Kroos, Benzema Real Madrid. They're not that
Modric
anymore.
locking it up in midfield.
Well,
let's put this, mate. I just put 100 quid on Real Madrid to win. So.
Oh shit! One of them ones.
So
and I've seen the odds.
I'm not a betting man. So is that to win the tie or just to win the game?
To win the tie.
Ooh. Okay.
That is, there's some big odds on that still. There's some big odds on that. So fingers crossed for that one. But yeah, let's talk. Let's talk about him. Let's talk about the king. Let's talk about the man who signed a new contract. Let's talk about the fact that we waited days, weeks, months, over a year. See him there? We've waited a long time for this news. And then we just wake up on Friday morning, 7:30. Bang, news, like out of nowhere. Like which Liverpool love to do. They love to do this to us. They love to like make us think nothing's happening and then bang, out of nowhere, they just hit us with the news. Errol, I'll start with you, bro. What was your initial feeling when you first woke up and saw it? And was it marred? Was it slightly lessened your excitement a little bit by the fact that we kind of got that little bit of news the day or two before?
No, I wouldn't say the excitement went from it. It was like a formality at that point. Once you start seeing those rumours coming through, I think because of how quiet it's been, and obviously there was the only real comment of significance from Salah's camp was I'm more out than in. I think because it's been quiet since then, and then you hear something such a positive spin of things all of a sudden, the two of them, pretty much, it was like a bit of a package deal. All of a sudden, I was like, right, let's just dot the I's, cross the T's, let's get them both for the line. And I think Liverpool had an opportunity to then really navigate when the news kind of broke. Obviously, the back of the Fulham game, we kind of taken further wind out of our sails, so to speak. So all of a sudden, there was an opportunity to say, right, how can we make sure that we just G everybody up a little bit? Let's get everybody in that good Friday feeling, good vibes, going into the weekend. It's a big weekend. We've got home advantage against West Ham. Arsenal played before us. They've had a good result in midweek. And it was almost a way to try and counteract that because from our perspective, I didn't want, and again, you can only really focus on us, but there is a wider thing at play where you don't really want too much momentum to start happening to other teams at this point in the year in the way there's a running. You kind of just want it. And I think it's been shown in Arsenal's game today. They know all their eggs are in the Champions League basket, which is fine. That's their prerogative. But our prerogative is still to get this Premier League over the line. So teeing us up as much as we possibly could for a home game against West Ham after a dodgy result. I just thought it was a great way to just say, right, we're going to show our hand now with 1 and let's see how that does. And obviously the news cycle has just turned into a life of its own. And all of a sudden now there feels like there's a very good feel-good factor around the club, around the player. And hopefully now that can drive on some performances as well as a result.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Jay, what was your feeling when you woke up, bro?
Firstly, well, my first feeling was I needed a piss. Secondly, no. So I think I've always said I had a feeling Salah and Virgil would sign in April. I've always had that feeling. But the longer the year went, the season went, I think I started obviously have doubts. But yeah, when I saw the news, I think we spoke about it the day before it, obviously, when there was rumours, that going around that they're putting pen to paper, and then obviously it was 24 hours later when it was shown to be true. Yeah, I woke up excited, man. Keeping your best players is what you're meant to do as a football club. You know what I mean? You're meant to keep your best players and build around your best players to keep you going year in, year out. And the fact that Mo Salah wanted to stay at Liverpool as well, which will be for almost, I think, 10 years by the end of his contract, is another sign that we're not a stepping stone football club. We're a club that these players want to play at and stay at and feel like they can retire at our football club, which for me is massive. And that gives me as much joy as anything, really. So I was proper excited. Also, it means, we're going to be there again next season when you keep players at this level, and that tells the rest of the world as well. Look, come to us. We're starting to pay these players now. Look what Mo's earning. All the reported figures that Virgil's going to earn. These people will go earn money now at our football club, and we'll go win things. We're going places. So it's a great sign all round and a great day for every Liverpool fan everywhere around the world, if you ask me.
No, big facts, bro. I mean, look at the smile on this man's face. Nobody told me he ain't just over the middle. I mean, look, tell me he ain't thinking next season is on already. Come on. That is a smile of a face that knows. He knows we're gonna keep cooking. Like, I'm super excited by this, man. I can't believe that it's finally done, because I was getting a little worried. I can't lie. Ends, was you getting worried at all? Or was you getting to a point?
Do you know what, Drift? I was kind of split. I was kind of okay with the possibility of him leaving, because I was just like, okay, maybe we do a fresh start, rebuild, whatever that looks like, in terms of, who do we get in to replace him? Can we get maybe an Isak, someone that can replace the goals? So it wasn't even a thing, but it was more of a relief. It's just like, finally now we can stop speaking about this. It can just be done. Now I know, all right, what we're going to do going forward. For me personally, I was thinking, all right, does he stay on the right wing? What does that look like? Is he going to lose a yard of pace in the next year, in the next 6 months? What does that look like? Should we shift him? I'm starting to think as a manager, where would I then put him to then carry on getting the best out of him? Could we get someone else in on the right wing and then shift his position and then use someone more of a bit more pace? Whatever it may be, I don't know. Because Mo is the most creative player we have in the team currently. So it's what do we do with him within the team? But as I said, I was kind of calm, bro. I was literally calm. Whatever would have happened. And if it means he left, he left. If he stayed, he stayed. I don't think, for me personally, do I want him? Did I want him to stay at the football club? Maybe, but it all depended on what he was going to offer us going forward in terms of his position and stuff like that. And yeah.
Can I not ask then? All right, then. So, because I get that, and I think 12 months ago, I was probably like that as well in terms of where I was at with Mo Salah. I think the thing that has probably changed for me in the last 12 months more than anything else was, and obviously we would have got a fee for him back in the summer, but it was, I wanted to see what Slot would do with that forward line, and I was prepared to give them all a season to prove that they could still be a valuable asset to us in terms of this next phase of what we're going to build around. As Jamie just said, then you build around your best players. All that it's shown me this season is Salah is still our best player, whether it was under a Slot system or a Klopp system. It doesn't really matter. He is still the one that you can depend on the most. If it was the other way and Salah chooses not to stay, I still think we then end up losing a Salah. We've got to get rid of a Diaz and we've got to get rid of a Nunes at least. And then there's probably arguments for Chiesa and Jota. All of a sudden, who's left? So it's not just Salah's goals that you then try to replace. It's probably 3/4 of that forward line that you're probably looking at to say, right, well, how can we then get plus 30, 35 goals a season in the Prem from what we now go and buy in the market?
No, but that's a great question. I think for me, it was more around, can you get someone to get 30 goals? I think you could have got Isak to do that. This is the guy that a lot of people have spoken about. He's got 20 in the Premier so far. So it wasn't a fact of who can get the 30 goals. It was about who can get us the winners in the games, right? Most goals don't always equate to wins. For an example, I'm not saying that he hasn't scored big goals or won us games of football. I always think, all right, logically, could we get someone that could replace those goals? get 30 in the Prem or get 25, max. Yeah, what does that look like? Does that look like winning you the league? Yes, it can do, because that's what we always speak about strikers who can get 20 plus in the Prem. That means you have a title winning striker in your team. So that was more my thing. And then it was like performances. All right, what does the performances look like in terms of is it going to go down? Has he, does he look to increase those performances if he stays at the football club? And for me, it's not about the goals or the assists. It's what he does within the game as well. And that's where, when a year ago, you're right, I was thinking, nah, just get this. I was thinking, I don't think, can he cut it? But then he proved me wrong. He scored all the goals and stuff like that. But I still question performances, because you could score the goals in the game. But for us, we create content. We speak about the games. We have to speak about, what he does in the game. And for me, if he scores in the game but he performed bad, I would never just paper over it by saying, right, he scored, let's forget about the rest of the game. I can't do that. I coach at a very good level. So I'm always thinking about that side of the game more than just let's just forget about it. I can't do that. That's not within me just to go, right, you score, let's leave their performances aside. But back to the original question from Drifty. Now, listen, it's more of a relief than anything. I'm just cool now that he's here. So now I can go, right, Virgil's going to be here, Mo's going to be here. What do we now bring in to make us a stronger team now? Where before I was just like, okay, if they leave, all right, that means there's a season without a title. Then maybe we don't even finish in the top 4. But I was willing to see what that looked like as well. But that's just for me personally.
I disagree with the not being bothered, but
the performance thing, because Ent makes a good point, and he made a really good point there. And I do hear it a lot with the performance stuff with Mo. You know what? If Mo scores on average 2 goals a game a season and his performances ain't that great, am I bothered? Probably not. And I've always said this as Mo. I think Mo is a striker that just plays right wing. All right? Yeah. So if you take an old-fashioned striker who doesn't really get involved in the game that much, doesn't have a lot of chance, doesn't have a lot of touches, doesn't really get involved in a lot of the play, but he's the guy who wins you the game of football at the end of the match.
You're saying he's Haaland on the right wing?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But does that matter? If he wins you everything.
Not this season.
No, so performances I get. I think the performances of the other attackers is the main problem around Mo Salah. That for me is more of the issue, because I think Mo has created 63% of our chances as our forward this season, which is a stupid number.
He's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, he's doing it all. So if you get players around him that will contribute just as much, then I think we ain't going to concentrate on the performances of Mo so much, because at the moment he's the one everyone's looking at, because everyone else is sort of falling off in that area. So Mo's basically carrying the club from a forward point of view right now. So it's a great argument about the performances, I have to admit. But if the man's scoring, that's why I don't look at Mo as a winger or a wide forward or anything. I actually look at him as a striker, just not playing centrally. That's the way I've always looked at Mo, because his goals show me that. That's what he shows me. So I think the performance argument is a good one. It's a great debate to have as well.
So should we just get to a point now where we kind of use Mo as a luxury player, and everyone else has just got to do that a little bit more, because he scores goals so much? We can afford for him to be a luxury player because he'll win us the game.
I think going forward next season, I think obviously towards between here and now and the end of the season, I think if it's not broke, don't fix it. And we're going to have to kind of work with what we've got and accept the limitations of some of the other forwards. I think that's an area where we can really look to be a little bit more expansive come the summer. And as Jamie's kind of said there, and I think it's kind of what Enz is alluding to, if you've got other viable options in and around that have got a real quality for chance creation and actually causing defences more of a tangible headache, as opposed to, all right, you look good on the ball, you could run down cul-de-sac sometimes and you can twist and turn, but there's never really that killer instinct to at least get to the byline. Every other attempt, we're going to mix it up and we're going to get to the byline and we're going to put a ball across, so that you've got somebody centrally or Mo coming in off the back stick that can always arrive in the right place at the right time. And that can, and I know we always, Liverpool fans, observe City as kind of the closest competition we've had for a number of years, but it's something that they've been so good at down the years that it's almost a predictability that they've got wingers that will do it, but it's still so effective because of the timing of those runs and the way that the playmakers will make those chances for the forward line. So I think it's a case of if we can look to be a little bit more expansive and try and find a little bit more directness. I think Cody Gakpo's probably the closest thing we've got to somebody that can be quite direct at times. And then I think from his aerial side of things, when Salah's putting the balls in the other side, I think it complements each other well. But I think obviously having a killer up front through the middle, or potentially having somebody that comes off the left-hand side that is a little bit more direct, I think would go a long way to not necessarily masking the performances, but if you want to frame it how you framed it, Drifty, in terms of a luxury, it means that we can just have Mo Salah to do the most important thing, and that's put the ball in the back of the net.
Can we, I was looking at like getting our team back balanced, right? When we had Sadio and obviously Salah on the right, it felt balanced. It felt like no matter what anything did, if one was having a bad game, the other one would stand up. Vice versa. But at the moment, it feels so off balance at the moment within the attack. And you're right. There's a heavy workload on Mo because he's the one getting the ball the most. He's the one scoring the goals, getting the assists. But at the same time, we've seen when teams go right, stop him, Liverpool can't play. I don't want to see our team like that. I want to see our team going, not only do we have to worry about Mo Salah, we have to worry about whoever else is on that side and whoever else is through the middle. And then that way, it frees up Mo to even do even more and get even more goals. And it's crazy saying that because he's already scoring a lot of goals. But at the moment, it just feels like the team is built around him. But then if we get stuck, which we've seen in the last few games, PSG, we got stuck. We've seen against Newcastle, we got stuck. Just the recent games where they've gone to mark him out the game. And then you've seen like, okay, we expect the rest to do other stuff, but we know they can't. I want us to get back to a position where we're balanced again.
I think the quick. Sorry, Jamie, I'll let you go. I think the quickest answer to that for me personally is identifying what a slot number 9 looks like. The sooner we could do that, I think the better chance we've got. I think we can make work from that left wing if we know what the number 9's doing. Personally.
I mean, I don't want to be too disingenuous though to some of our players because I know the form hasn't been great, but we're talking about literally their Liverpool career as a whole. Jota has constantly proved if he is playing, he's a difference maker. He is a game changer. I think Gakpo's had a brilliant season overall, considering he's been in and out the side as well. Like he scored 10 goals in all competitions in a row at one point before his injury. Like I think Gakpo is kind of gone under the radar. So I do think there's other players in our front line that have stepped up. Diaz has been clutch at moments. Mo's just consistently been the guy. And I think that's the reason why everybody's more focused on that, whereas the others have been a little patchy here and there. But generally speaking, especially Diaz and Gakpo this season, they've done their part. Like, I think it is a little disingenuous when we just go, our attack is just Mo and that's it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we're being a little bit too harsh on the others with that.
How many goals has Diaz scored since September?
Is that what we're going to?
I'm just asking the question. I'm asking. No. I'm
like Drippy tried to get us all back on side.
I genuinely don't know.
I think it's 2. I want to say it's 2.
But remember, goals ain't the only way that they can contribute though. Playing well is still, do you know what I mean? Playing their role. Do you know what I mean? They don't have to be the goal scorer.
I agree with
that. But it's not the Mane thing that ends was on about that though. That's not the Mane level though, is it?
Yeah. From a point of view of having that absolute stone cold killer that we know we can rely on the way we could with Mane. Yeah, we don't have that, but I still think they've played their part.
I think our balance comes from our fullbacks. Personally, we haven't got the. Yeah,
I still think that. Yeah,
I think it's because the way our forwards are, our wide players are not really wide players; they're inside forwards. Yeah, so you get the best out of them when they're in that inside channel more than they're in the wide channels. We haven't, even Trent this season's not been an up and down right back like he used to be. Like the last couple of seasons, he's inverting. This year, he's been more of that defensive minded first right back, not getting forward as much. Robbo hasn't got the energy to get up and down like he used to. I think you saw the difference against Fulham when Conor Bradley came on. Look where Salah's position was when Conor Bradley came on. It was more in that inside channel area and it freed him up a lot more. And I think the way Liverpool play with their forwards, and like we're talking about goals and not everything, but I think the way Liverpool's wide players are, that's the main aspect of their game. The main aspect of their game is assisting and goals more than Man City's wide players of holding the ball for creativity, building up play, building up possession in the wider areas of the pitch. I think our wide players are more for goals. So for that, you need fullbacks that are young and quick that can get up and down all game, and the forward line can get a bit more narrow, and you can play through the midfield sometimes. Because I feel like when we get the ball high up the pitch now, and we lose it over, we're very easy still for me to get turned over, on transition.
Yeah,
Because
we do. Yeah, we are a little vulnerable at that.
Yeah, because our fullbacks can't get back quick enough at times as well, and that's an issue as well. So I think at the moment, because of the way our players are and the way we play, even this season, Slot hasn't changed too much. Yeah, he hasn't changed too much, but our play still comes from fullback areas. That's why everyone says we miss Trent a lot when he doesn't play, because the creative way he plays and gets into them areas, he also helps out Mo quite a lot. Look at where Mo's position been in the last 3 games. Very wide, touchline wide. You don't really want to see Mo there. He's more dangerous when he gets space inside. But if you're not got fullbacks underlapping or overlapping him and taking defenders away, Mo's going to be stuck with that channel of 2 or 3 players always around him, and he can't, dribble past every player all the time. He just can't. So I think that's why we're looking at people like Kirkes in that left back position, because he's got the ability to get up and down. I think that's why Conor Bradley, if he could be Liverpool's number 1 right back next season, he's got the ability to go up and down. I think that's why we're looking at Frimpong, because he's got the pace to chase back. He's got that pace to chase back as well. Maybe not defensively great, but because he's got that pace to get up and down, I think that'll help as well. Maybe I'm wrong there, but that's why I look at it.
No, you make some good points. So I can't even lie. And I think, I'll be honest, I'm quite excited at the prospect, as young as it will be, of Bradley and Kirkes being our fullbacks. For me, that kind of does scream, like his pace, his energy. Do you get what I mean? Both are technically good. Both are good at crossing the ball. I'm quite excited at the thought of that being our fullbacks, if I'm honest. Just on that Diaz and Gakpo thing, just so we can add a little facts to our debate. Diaz is on 14 in all comps, 10 in the Prem with 8 assists, which for me personally, I actually think is good. I know there's people out there that are going to be like, no chance, man's got to be on 25. He's a Liverpool winger. But I actually think that's pretty good stats personally.
Two more assists there, Drift, and he's got double. And that's what you expect for your wingers to try and do. I say expecting it, but that's what we're so used to with Sadio getting double in some seasons, not all, but just banging goals and winning games. I think with Diaz, the problem he's had is just not being consistent enough. I think in terms of a player, there's a player there, but he's just not consistent when you need him to be. He has moments in the season where he looks unbeatable and the defenders, is running by defenders, but then it's just the end product. But then there's moments like the Leverkusen game where you're just like, okay, obviously he played through the middle in that one, but you could see that there's a player there. He could score goals. He can, be a defender's nightmare. And then Gakpo comes in and he kind of does the same thing as well, where he's had his moments and he comes out. I think because none of them is
these
really...
are Gakpo's numbers on the screen right now, bro.
Yeah, and look, they're not.
I'm not gonna lie, man. That is, can we really look at that and scoff it and go? 22 GA.
Do you know what it is with Diaz and Gakpo? This is what it is with Diaz and Gakpo. I think they all score in a bunch of time and then go missing for quite a lot. Their goals are not spread through a season, if that makes sense. We've just asked how many goals has Diaz scored since October or whatever it was, or something mad like that. They're not throughout the year.
Not so much Gakpo. If Gakpo went 10 games in a row scoring, that is kind of, do you know what I mean?
That's really good form. That's really good form. But then you want him to sort of be. I don't know. I think I've always said it. I think Luis Diaz from the halfway line to the 18-yard box is a better player than Cody Gakpo. But from the 18-yard box, I think Cody Gakpo is better than Luis Diaz. So he's more. He's more direct. He's got that cross that he likes to the back post. He's quite threatening with that. He has got a more powerful shot than Luis Diaz. I think he's probably a better finisher than Luis Diaz, and he's better in the air. So, but from the halfway line to the penalty box, Luis Diaz gives you so much more. He works harder. I think he's got a better engine. you know, he takes defenders on. He don't always do it properly what we want him to do, but he attempts it constantly. But then Cody from the box is just, I think, more of a killer.
They're both good in their own right, but because none of them has been able to like really tie down that position, I think that's the issue as well. None of them has really gone, that's my position. You have to sit on the bench and wait your turn. It's always
Is
like
that not what we want, though, guys?
No, but I get that. But I
have
think that's
two
where-
players that were almost like whoever plays, let's like because,
No, I
because
get
they're
that.
both good.
I get that, Drifty. When you look at the numbers, one got 14 goals, the other one's got 16. Just imagine if you had that in just the one player. That's what you're talking about, the Mo Salah on that side.
Yeah,
What Mo Salah is doing.
But that's 30 goals from left wing.
I know, but I'm thinking, the other side of the
saying?
conversation, and boy, fans are going to be like, "Rah, we could replace it." I've always gone like, I don't think you can, because you look around the world, not many wingers are on these kind of numbers.
No, there's not. Can I throw another thing in the mix as well? I think it's compounded by the fact that, and again, you guys have to fact check, and someone in the comments might want to do this. I don't think that as a front three play well together. I think that's where there's been issues, because I think
they go in the same room.
Yeah, I think Jamie's point was excellent, that you could have obviously Gakpo from the 18-yard box, and you could have Diaz, and you think, all right, well, if you get them on the same pitch, they can kind of both do what they do really well, and then hopefully you get a little bit of a double bubble. But it hasn't really seemed to work, and they've not really been able to gel and have that chemistry. And again, it is very difficult because we've got a recent memory and a barometer of Mane, Firmino, and Salah, and at times you thought they'd share a brain. The three of them are all using the same one brain at one point in time, whereas these are very much individuals that play with each other, but they just never really found the best way to play against, obviously, the versatility in the defenses, that setups that we have in the Premier League. You will get some teams that will leave you a lot more space one week than a team the next week, and being able to react to that and hoping that the same players will come up with different answers. It's definitely not as second nature to this crop. And I think there's probably somewhere out there in a world like Enza saying, where could we just get that one player that gives us 20 goals and maybe 10 assists over the course of a season?
Errol, is that why we're looking at Ekitike? Because he can play off the left as well.
Maybe.
I can't deal with no more strikers that can play off the left, bro. I need a striker now. I can't deal with these.
There's not many in the world, you know. Enzo.
Well, look at Mamouche. Look at Mamouche. Yeah, when Haaland ain't playing, Mamouche is the main striker, but his position is always off the left. And he cuts in and he goes in. Right. I'm just wondering if that's what they're looking at. Why they're looking at Ekitike, because he has that ability.
For me, Jay, that all that means is now there's three guys fighting over a position maybe on the wing now.
You say that, but I've heard some real strong rumors from some real credible journalists over the last 24 hours that say that Nunes and Diaz more than likely will both be leaving this summer.
I expect Nunes to leave.
And that Liverpool are seriously talking to Newcastle about Isak. That is what the talk is. Like serious conversation, not what we're normally used to Liverpool doing, where they pussyfoot about. Like, we're actually like, yo, what's it going to take? Let us know. We want to get it done, kind of thing.
But to Drifty's point, and I think this is one that I often overlook with Diaz, and I think there is a time and a place to reflect on it. Pound for pound, value for money, Diaz is great, dare I say it, in terms of he's on a weekly wage of about 55 to 60 grand a week. For a winger that's getting you plus 20 goals and assists in a Prem, you'd be hard. That's what I mean. When you think pound for pound, you're probably going to be hard pressed. Now, don't get it twisted. If he was on 150 grand a week, nearly 200 grand a week, and that was his output, you might have a stronger case to be saying, is he really ripping up the trees? But at the price tag that he's costed us on a weekly basis, I think we're probably getting favour. And I'm trying to be fair and balanced in that, because he's not. There's a lot of his game that I don't like. But then when you break it down purely by numbers and obviously the cost factor, you're looking at a player, I don't know, for 55 grand a week, 60 grand. Are you going to get better left wingers?
I don't think there's 10 left wingers in the world better than Diaz. That's why I get so confused. Everybody acts like he's like some bum. Like if you genuinely think you can name me 10, then fair enough. But as Errol just said, like, he's got 22 goal contributions this season in all comps, and Gakpo's got 22. So they're both identical. It's just one's got more goals, one's got more assists. 22 goal contributions from both left wingers. All right, there have been some games Diaz has been down the middle, but generally speaking, they're left-sided players. That means that they've got 44 goal contributions from the left. So we add in the 41 from Salah on the right. We've got an 80 goal contribution front line. How can anybody then turn around and go, oh man, our front line don't do enough? What front line's got more than 80 goal contributions in the
It's
league?
the moments though, Drift. It's the moments that because they're not scoring. It's the moments when they're not, like what Jamie pointed out earlier. They're scoring them in clusters. So when they go moments where they're missing in games or they're not scoring,
they're frustrating. Let's face it, they are frustrating.
When that happen, guys? Are we not striving for too much perfection?
If I was a striker, if I was an out-and-out striker, I would rather Gakpo played left wing to Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
Because the problem with Luis Diaz, he takes too much time on the ball sometimes. Where I do think Cody's a better crosser of the ball and he gets his head up a little bit quicker. That's the only thing that frustrates. That's the only thing that frustrates me with Luis Diaz sometimes. Like sometimes he'll beat his man and he wants to beat him again. I'm like, no, just it's like, he's frustrating because he has got qualities. He's the most frustrating forward in our football club, I think, because I get frustrated with him because he's not a bum footballer. He's a good footballer, man. He's the proof's in the pudding. We've seen it. He's got ability, but sometimes you just see him and he's just. I don't know what it is. It's like he needs a kick up the arse.
Is there too much street footballer in him almost? Is that what it is? There might be too much street footballer in him.
I think, do you know what the maddest thing is though? And I had this theory when he first came to us, and a lot of people rebutted with the fact that his injury taking a bit of his pace. But I still don't think it was just down to the injury. I think it was the instruction. When he first came, he didn't speak a word of English. Nobody knew what he was going to do, our team included, and we just enabled him to play his game. I think come that summer, once Klopp and the backroom staff got a hold of him and tried to do the whole systemised thing, I just don't think it intellectually, for IQ-wise, he's been able to play up to the playbook. And there are certain times when he'll do the swagger thing, his own natural instinct will get him to a position, and then he'll think, right, what is it in the playbook right now that I'm supposed to do? And all this time, you can see he's thinking about it because he stopped making progression with the ball, and that directness is gone, and all of a sudden it's the overplay that then you think, okay, now he's had to try and work himself into a position where he can do what he's been thinking he should have been doing. And it's like, instead of just going off your instinct and letting it continue and just carry you with a little momentum, that's what holds it back. The thing that I've struggled with the most this season more than anything else, because the goals have come in clusters, was the fact that even Slot's not been able to kind of unpack that again from him and just try and get him back to his rawest form and hope that we've got intelligent enough footballers that should be able to read his game as opposed to him having to read the rest. And I know you don't want to make up too much concessions for certain players, but everybody else is on job. Salah knows where he needs to be, where he needs to pop up. Salah can be a little bit more cuter and a little bit more educated to go, all right, well, I know what Diaz is on now. Let me just make sure that I make this run instead of this run, because I've seen him do it 100 times now. And I think that's where we've probably lost the ability to really tap into the best out of Diaz. That's just my...
You've got to give him that free role, ain't you? You've got to let him be him.
How do we tap back into that then, Errol, though? Because I'm with you. When he first came in, and I just didn't want to see the European football be drilled into him. I wanted to just leave him in his pure form, because that form you could just see unplayable at times. How do we get that back? If obviously he decides to stay, I don't know what that looks like. He might go. How do we get? Because you look at Colombia and then you look at Liverpool, and you're like, why are we getting two contrast different players? Why are we getting one player that looks unplayable and he's not playing bummy teams? He's playing top countries.
It goes to what Jamie's saying. He gets that free role for Colombia. He gets that free role to do what he needs to do, and because he's got that profile in his national shirt, players are looking for him constantly to see how he's making his runs, what he's doing in training, and they're saying, right, we'll adapt to Diaz because that's where we're going to get the best out of us. Whereas Liverpool's so set up to adapt to what Salah does, and I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but there's a system at Liverpool that is meant to benefit the front three, and the most productive in that front three is Salah. So it's heavily skewed to his abilities. Whereas then that means Diaz has to do specific functions when he gets the ball in certain areas of the pitch. And he knows, giving him those tweaks and instructions, I just think you lose something from him when he's playing in this game. It strips away his natural ability to just.
How do we get the balance back then? How do we get that balance back then? If that's something we're looking to get back. For me, I want to see it back. How do you get it back then? Because
it's a bit like John Barnes, right? John Barnes people used to moan that John Barnes never showed up for England like he did for Liverpool. You know, that was always the argument. John Barnes is one of the greatest wingers I've ever watched, and you know, people have that same thing. And but John used to say like the difference of playing for the club. He was allowed to have that role where he just could be John Barnes. For England, it was a different kind of pressure. It was different for him. He didn't feel like he could be John Barnes sort of thing, you know. And maybe that's the same with Luis Diaz. Maybe for Colombia, he just feels like I'm Luis Diaz. I'm Colombian Luis Diaz playing for Colombia. For Liverpool, I don't suit that system, not systematic kind of football that there is in the Premier League as much. Because you've got to remember, when he did come to Liverpool, we have to have got to remember, he was absolutely on the form of his life at Porto at the beginning of the season as well. I think he got 14 goals for Porto that season before he joined us in January. Yeah. So he carried on his great form. He just got his transfer, got to a big club, and you know he's obviously buzzing. He just carried on his form all the way through to the end of that season. But this season, I do think Slot has preferred Cody at left wing at times, and he's played Diaz through the middle a lot because he just doesn't trust the other two. So he's played Diaz through the middle at times, but. I think if you ask Slot who he'd want as his main left winger at the two, if he had to pick, I think he'd pick Cody.
Because even if you go back to on the club and the front three of Bobby, Sadio, Salah, the purest form was when we allowed them to just do what they wanted to do. Like it didn't feel like there was a system. I'm sure there probably was a system, but it didn't feel that way. Like Mane could do what he wanted to do, Salah was doing what he wanted to do, and Bobby just did whatever he wanted to do on the ball, and it allowed all of them to go and express themselves, and that way you got our attack, that you got the best out of the front three. At the moment, it seems like we only can get the best out of Salah, and then because you know he's literally carrying the attack line at the moment. How do we go back? Because I want us to go back to a way where, like the Bobby, the Sadio, and Salah era, where it felt like we were untouchable. It felt like the little 1-2 split round. It just felt like they all were in sync. At the moment, it feels like there's links, but then we're not in sync in moments.
There's no sync, is there?
Yeah,
maybe you just have to be honest. These players ain't that good.
Well, they're not gonna be as good as that front three because that front three talent wise is three of the greatest players to ever play in the Premier League.
I will say one thing. I don't think Diaz and Robbo have ever had a chemistry on that left hand side.
No,
they've never had that chemistry. Like Mane and Robbo, they didn't even. If you remember, they never even looked at each other. They just knew.
Yeah, that was Jay-Z.
Mane wouldn't even. Yeah. Mane wouldn't even. Do you remember that time when Mane would get the ball? He wouldn't even look. He didn't know Robbo's already done an overlap, and he'd just play it out. You know,
to be fair, though, Jay, they've had years together, though, didn't they? They had a few more years to build that.
Well, even straight from the off, to be fair.
They were kind of good from the beginning. I mean, you know what I think gets slept on with Diaz, though, if I'm being honest, and I've never said this in public. When Diaz first came to Liverpool, he was very slim and slender. And people used to like make jokes about how he looked like he looked malnourished and stuff like that. You see the knee injury, I don't think it was just the injury that affected him. I think the club made him put on weight and muscle. If you look at him now, he's actually more built than he was when he first came. You lose speed if you're used to being light on your feet with like a very skinny frame. And then all of a sudden they make you pack on muscle. You will lose your speed when that happens. Now, maybe they needed to do it for the strength of the knee. But I think that's gone totally under the radar as to why maybe he's not as quick, not as agile as he used to be. Because he looks bulkier. Do you know what I mean? Even though he's still quite slim compared to some other players. Go and look at Porto Diaz. He was skinny. Like, he was actually, like, really little bit. The Premier League, maybe it would have ate him alive if he tried to be that slim.
Because there's more contact in our league.
Remember the first game?
Did he him alive? He done his knee in it, didn't he?
No, you see the first game when the keeper came out. That was in the first game. Keeper came out and nearly took his head off, bro. And I remember that day, I thought, nah, we can't have just bought this brother and he's out already.
Remember, he nearly got a knee injury on his debut. Do you remember we were all bricking ourselves for about 5 minutes when he
Was
went
it the
down?
headed goal? Was it where he gets it over the head?
No, I think
No,
he was
before
like
that, someone
just
tried to
outside
break-
the area, and somebody just took him out. And for about 3-4 minutes, the physio was doing his knee, and we were like, "Nah, he has not just made his debut and done his knee in the same game." What? So yeah, maybe he had to put on that little bit of extra weight, little bit of extra muscle to deal with the Prem. Remember, Trent did the same thing, right? Trent was very slim when he was younger, and he put on muscle to get used to it. That might have something to do with it. I'm not gonna lie, it might do. But swinging it back to Mo, though, which is obviously what we're here for. Actually, let me check if these supers are on the topic before I moved on. Big up Musil says very fitting of the king to be the first out of the three. Maybe that was by design for real. Pay the respect to Mo. Just Lab says new Salah contract means 10 years, so he gets a testimonial game like Gerrard, Carragher, etc. Right? Need to cop a ticket. I don't know if they do testimonials anymore, guys. When was the last time you
asked for it, don't you? Some people.
Yeah, I think they will do it for him though, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I guess no one's been at a club long enough to have one. I guess maybe.
Did Hendo have one?
No, I don't think he did.
Was he here 10 years?
Why do I feel like he was going to have one and then something?
He must have been. Big up Josh's Drift. I told you and Matt about April. Big up, lads. In the last calling show, Josh did actually. He did. Big up. Big up Soren, as always, brother. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Says big up, gents. If we get the right players like Kirkes, Hoyson, Gavario, Reed. I don't even know who Gavario Reed is.
He's a right back. He's a right back.
Oh, okay. Ekatike, Gittins, and Paxal, we will be unstoppable for the many seasons to come. You will never walk alone. I definitely want Hoyson, Kirkes, and Ekatike. I'll be honest with you.
See that Piaxo? Talking about a left winger with GA, I think he's got 17 goals and 14 assists this season, or something like that.
Oh, shit. Who's he play for?
Feyenoord. Played under Slot.
Oh, did he? Okay. Fair enough. You know, hey, who knows, man? Who knows? Moose was back. Says it's decision making with Diaz. It's decision making. Diaz is the best at LFC at creating space and separating and separation. The problem is what happens after that, and it's worrying because he's 29. I think he's 28. But I'm being nitpicky there, but yeah. Well, an extra year, you know what I mean? You can't just chop a year off a man's life.
Add years onto him, man. Let him get there first.
Yeah. But I get Musil's point. I do get his point. And this is what I'm saying. I think a lot, because here's the thing that I don't like, and people are guilty of this, and they're not going to admit it. I don't like when people say, I don't care how well you play. I don't want to hear about man's defensive work. So it's like, I don't want to hear about my man's doing. I don't want to hear about my running around. Where's the goals? Where's the assist? But then when I'm sitting there and I'm like, Gakpo, 22 GA. Diaz, 22 GA. Then you go, no. Don't talk to me about stat padding. Don't talk to me about just scoring goal. What's man doing during the game? It's like, come on, guys. What are we doing here? We're just moving goalposts to suit narrative.
That's what everyone has to go at, like Vinny Jr. about, ain't he? Because he doesn't get back and defend. You know, when he has a bad game, they're like, well, he didn't even do anything defensively. So you can't win as a winger.
Yeah, you can't. People will change the conversation constantly whenever they want, man. Big up Vern as always. Says smash the like button. Big up to the goated panel. Big up yourself, Vern. As always, brother. And Sadiq, brother, I hope you're doing well, B. Says, when the haters heard about Mo, they said, Bomba Clot. I saw a couple of the footballers' videos and that as well. Yeah, they weren't happy about it. Right, let's have a little bit of fun before we close out then, sticking on the Mo topic. I'll give you guys a second to think about it, and I'll go first. I want everyone to think of their favorite Mo moment and their favorite Mo goal, because they are two different things. Because a moment can be a whole game, right? So favorite Mo moment and favorite Mo goal. For me personally, I'm gonna say his favorite goal of mine is the one that he scored against Man City the year we chased the quad, when he did the skill.
The mad thing. He did the mad thing.
I've never been taken out of my spirit and just felt like I was floating in an existence of euphoria the way I was when he scored that goal. I don't know if you lot remember how tense that game was, how important that game was, how on the edge that game was, how close it was. And then Mo just popped up with that moment, and it was out of this world. I know we didn't win the game in the end because they got an equalizer, but that goal was just it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. So for me, that's the goal. Enz, I'll start with you. What goal for you would you say for Mo? If you're
This
going to
is
pick a
tough,
goal,
you know. There's like 3, but in terms of moments, the Chelsea one, the cut in and hit the top bins. That one, I jumped out my seat. That I couldn't believe it.
I was at the stadium when he scored that. My days.
And that's
Errol, was you in the crowd for that one when he hit that
Nah,
corker against
nah,
Chelsea?
Do you know when he hit? As soon as he, because I don't know how they had the camera, but as soon as he cut in and hit it, I was like, "That's in." You could just see it was in. But I don't know. Maybe this. I'm gonna go with the City one, the one when he chipped the goal. Was it Ederson goal? Yeah, he chipped it in the Champions League game.
Oh, the halfway line one.
No. It was when he chipped the goalkeeper. It was the one when he played
the
into
rebound.
Sadio.
It was the
Yeah,
rebound.
Sadio
Yeah,
dribbled through. The keeper come out.
Oh,
and
the
covered it,
Champions
he landed,
League goal.
and he took a touch and then just dinked the keeper. That
Oh,
was just a beautiful, because I knew what that meant. I was just like, these men ain't ready for us, bro. These men ain't ready. So I'll go with that one as the goal for me. The City one. The
Jen, what you saying? What's your goal? What's your favourite Salah goal, bro?
Jesus. Do you know what's mad about the Salah stuff? People act like he only scores tap-ins. The man's got a catalogue, man.
His catalogue's insane.
The Chelsea goal ends. That was just a cracker that he's not ever. I don't think he's really done them sort of goals since. So you always remember that. I like the goal against Everton with the snow falling on him. That's my favourite Salah goal. It might not look as pretty as the Watford and City goal, but you know, with the dribbling and all that. Because remember, Salah can't dribble. You know, I love that. I just love that goal. He put it right in the stanchion. He's got the snow falling on him. The ground starting to become all white, and that moment. Yeah, I love that goal. That's my favourite. That's my favourite.
Yeah, and he was bullying a few as well before.
I actually think it won the Puskas goal that year, or whatever it's called.
I think a couple people in the
people are saying that in the chat.
Yeah. Errol, what's your favourite Mo goal, bro?
So again, I could have easily said both of the ones that the lads have said, because I thought they were great goals and very close to saying the Chelsea one, and the Everton one was the second one that sprung to mind. But the chat are going to have to help me with this one, because I remember he scored a goal in Europe from like the corner flag. Champions League, yeah.
With the right foot. When he scored with his right foot.
Salzburg.
Bro, that to me is one of the techiest finishes I've seen from a player in a long time. Like, how he's running away from goal, he's fading away, the angle is closing on him every single second, and he just finds it. I just find the bottom bin, and I just thought he was on an electric run to be
absolutely. Weak foot as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, right foot.
Right foot finish, and you just think to yourself, unbelievable in terms of, obviously it's not the biggest goal he may have scored. I think in terms of technique and technical ability, for someone who's so heavily left-footed, it was an unbelievable finish. Unbelievable finish.
If I remember rightly, that game, he had a couple of chances that were much easier that he missed.
Yeah.
I remember that game. Yeah.
Do you know the one I want to give an honourable mention? Is the goal he scored against Tottenham.
Yeah.
I was just thinking
the draw. The
17-18.
The draw one, bro.
He toe punted it in the top corner. Do you know how much skill you need to do that? He actually toe punted it into the top corner.
Oh, I thought he was going to go the two when we thought we scored the winner on 2-1.
Yeah, and then
the game ended 2-2 when they got that cheating penalty right near the end of the game. Yeah. But the way he like done up the players and then just toe punted it top bins was. I was in the stadium for that goal as well. It was crazy.
Was it Ben Davies on his feet, bro? He was on his knees. He just dropped it. And then I was like, nah. I felt like slow motion.
If we're talking moments,
I see.
There's a few.
Yeah.
I might change my mind before the end. Right now, I'm going to say as a moment, I'm going to say it's Roma Champions League 17-18.
Against Ali.
Against
Ali, is that the one you want to throw?
Yeah. Do you know how crazy Mo? If I'm not mistaken, when it 2 goals, 2 assists, he got in that
he was
game,
on
right?
smoke in that game.
He was
he,
cooking the
he-
shit out of Roma in that game.
he looked like the best player in the world.
Unplayable. That is the most unplayable I've ever seen Mo for 90 minutes. Like the whole game, he was absolutely electric. Roma didn't know whether they were coming or going. The fullbacks didn't know what was going on. He was skipping man, doing man, passing, chipping goalkeepers. He was, I think, as an overall game moment, that was just the greatest 90 minutes we've had from Mo, personally. I think he was unplayable that game. Absolutely incredible. Ends, what would you say for a moment? What's your greatest moment?
The one of, the goal he scored on the counter-attack, Alisson clips it into him against United. And then he just muscles off
Daniel James.
And then he slots it. And then when he slots it in there, and then he backs the t-shirt off, and then out of nowhere, I'm like, when did Ali travel? Ali must have been traveling from when he kicked.
He traveled with the ball, bro. He traveled with the ball.
Because as soon as Mo turned around, I'm seeing Ali slide. I'm like, so he ran past. He's the one who played it. So he ran past the defense, the midfield,
everybody.
and so that was the moment. That's when I was like, nah, he's him. And then the Alisson slide just even topped it off. That moment there was,
and that was when we knew we were going to win the league as well.
Yeah.
It hit different. Yeah. That one hit different.
That was a moment.
That's what I was going to say. That because it was where we won the Premier League, and it's the first time you heard the crowd actually believe it, and they sung the song, didn't they? You know, Mo just sitting there, Alisson, as you say, running over. But any goal, any moment at Old Trafford from Salah for me, any moment at Old Trafford,
big one.
Any moment at Old Trafford, it's. I read a stat today or something that said, including Man United players, he's the 7th top goal scorer at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
mad that is.
Yeah,
mad.
He can't stop scoring. I think it was some weird stat, like he hadn't scored past them for about the first 4 or 5 games, and then he got that goal that you're talking about. And that was his first ever goal past Man United. Mm-hmm. And then he ain't looked back since. I think he's banged in like 13 goals against them since then, or something stupid like that. Like crazy. So is the Man United one your moment as well, Jay? You said like all the moments at Old Trafford, basically.
Yeah. See, I would again. I can't argue with that. I was going to go the Lisandro Martinez moment where he just spins him. I just think the Doctor Strange memes that came out the portals after that, bro. It just went off. It went off differently. But I'm going to go with his first season and the achievement at the time of breaking Suarez and it was Henry's record still at that point in terms of his Premier League goals. I just thought, even though it wasn't a great season for Liverpool on the whole, in terms of an individual season, everyone was expecting him to just be kind of a one-off. And we all knew, as Liverpool fans, we was laughing at we was like, all right, start. He'll be back again next season. And again the season after. And I just think in terms of Liverpool, because I think from a lifelong fans perspective, we've always had individuals that have just been out of this world, otherworldly in terms of how they've appeared in front of goal and some of the things they've been able to do. Not even for a very long time, I just straight up didn't think you could do that after Suarez. After Suarez, I just didn't think there'd be another forward that could be as electrifying to watch in the same way that Suarez was, because Suarez ascended from Fernando Torres, who I thought was unbelievable, and obviously the Owens and the Fowler. So it just seemed like we've hit the peak. It doesn't get much better than this. And Mohamed Salah says, hold my water, because he's a Muslim, he doesn't drink beer. Do you get me? Like, he was just on stuff differently from early. And I think from that moment, it probably gave me the confidence that, something special is going to happen. And if it does, this guy on the right wing is going to be at the heart of a lot of it.
Yeah, big facts.
Who's the City player who span as well when Pep fell to his knees and knew straight away?
Cancelo.
Was it Cancelo? Yeah.
I know it was Rodney. It's Rodri in the middle. He's not Rodri in the middle.
Cancelo, he spun. It was Cancelo. He got
on the half. Was that? Okay, that was the Anfield.
Halfway line,
And as soon as he did it, Pep fell to his knees because he knew, didn't he?
Yeah. So, Mike, your mic's going a bit funny, Jay. Like it's switched off or something.
Yeah.
So to finish up, boys, tough one for you guys. What is Mo Salah's best season since he's been at Liverpool? He's been here for 8 years now. And it doesn't have to just be statistically, because that makes it easy, right? But just what meant the most to you? Which one did you enjoy watching the most? Which has been Mo Salah's best season since he came to Liverpool?
This season. And the reason I say this season is because we're going to win the title in front of our fans. And he is, I'm not saying he's the whole reason that it's going to happen, but he's the majority of the reason it's going to happen. And if you look at the numbers he's putting up as well, you know, it's just incredible for a man of his age as well, what he's doing. So I would just say this season it's just been amazing to watch him do what he's done this season. And if we're going to win the title in front of our fans as well, and everyone's going to have this massive party and enjoy, it's probably going to be like 1 million people at the parade. It's going to be amazing, man. So for that, I'm going to have to say this season.
Do you know what I'll add to that, Jamie, as well? I think he put a tweet out back end of last season or an Instagram post being like, you know, not the season, but next year we're going to fight for everything and we're going to continue and we're And you see that so often from players, but with Salah, he's got such a conviction about himself that you're right. He has in moments carried Liverpool to a title this year, and in large part, what I initially went through the question, I was going to say the year we won the Champions League, because obviously he scores the pen against Tottenham. He had a good Champions League campaign. We seem to just be blowing teams out the water in the Champions League for a good 2 years. But again, everybody was the sum of the parts to that whole engine that Klopp had built at that point. Whereas this just feels like Salah's been the tip of the whole spear, and in terms of what we've done, we've absolutely just tore through the Premier League as a result, because he's just been unplayable at times. So I don't think he's had a better season than what he's set to have. And again, he didn't play in the FA Cup to be out of it. Do you know what I mean? All right, he doesn't turn up for the League Cup final, and again, there's probably a couple of games in the Champions League where he ever so slightly let us down a little bit. But outside of that, when we've needed him week in, week out this season, I think he's been absolutely brilliant.
Well, these are his stats since he came. So obviously, 17-18 being his first season, 32 goals and 10 assists. He followed that with 22 goals and 8 assists. Then he followed that with 19 goals and 10 assists. Then 22 goals, 5 assists. 23 goals, 13 assists. 19 and 12, 18 and 10, and this season 27 and 17.
And all their bookings, ain't they, for taking his shirt off?
Yeah,
probably. You know what? They probably actually are only for real for taking off his shirt.
I wouldn't wear a shirt.
Those are crazy statistics. The man has got 30 GA apart from one season, 2. There's only 2 seasons he hasn't reached 30 GA. And he's only 2 goals off in those 2 seasons as well. No, this is one goal off here, 2 goals off here. Other than that, 30 GA in every season.
No matter what anyone says, he's a special player. He's just a special player, man.
For me, I would say the first season drift, I think the most enjoyable one. And because I felt like we were built, you could see there was greatness were about to come in terms of Sadio and Bobby and him, that just getting that connection, and you just like, nah, these guys are unplayable. And if we could sort the defense out, what does that look like? And once we did that, you could see like what we've gone on to kind of achieve now, the Champions League, Premier League, the FA Cups, the League Cups, the World Club Champs, the Super Cup, and now we're going to win another Premier League. That was unreal, man. Unreal. As soon as he joined, because I hated that we missed out on him from when he went from Basel to Chelsea. That pissed, that got on my nerves a bit. But then when we had the opportunity to get him when he was right, and then you just
Chelsea only did that to stop us getting him.
Bro, I know. That wound me up, bro, because they didn't
at the time they could do that. They really didn't want him. Didn't really want him.
They literally just knew we were going to get him, so they did it to stop us.
And to favour, because we was going for the league as well. They knew that it strengthened our chances of getting the league. So let's do them in, and then we'll do them in when we play them at Stamford Bridge, and we'll see what happens.
Look, just looking at this, because a couple people have said I should ask about assists, which is fair. So we will round up with favourite assists. So get thinking about that, boys. But look at this. Look at Mo Salah's stats at Liverpool in the two big competitions. The man has got 44 goals and 18 assists in 73 European games for Liverpool. And he's got 243 goals and 111 assists in 394 Premier League games. This man is a fucking machine.
Do you know his Roma stats are fantastic?
Yeah, they actually are, isn't it?
In a very defensive
league.
league.
This is the myth that he wasn't good before he got it, Jay. People keep acting like he wasn't good before he got
Basel stats. His Basel stats.
I mean, even 9 goals and 4 assists in 26 games for Fiorentina, still good. He was only 20 then.
He's a goal scoring. He's just a goal scorer, man. It's what he's a beautiful goal scorer.
That is outrageous.
So hang on.
Goals.
So he's got 354 GA in 394 games of Liverpool.
Nearly a goal or an assist every game.
You know,
absolutely incredible.
I know GA ain't everything. I do understand it, but I think sometimes when it is that high, you just got to acknowledge it, ain't you? Yeah, you have to acknowledge it, and that's.
Do you know what it is about Mo? Why I give him a blight when it comes to the stat padding? Yeah, is because when you assess his career as a whole, he's had so many beautiful moments where he's done it all. It ain't like he just stat padded for 8 years and he's been a crap player who somehow manages to get on the score sheet. Yeah, there's the odd games when he does perform poorly but he'll score a goal to cover it up. But look how many games when he's just brilliant for the majority of the match and he bails us out and he scores hat-tricks or he gets a brace or he gets on a goal and an assist. Do you know what I mean? He's absolutely magic for the majority of the game. So he's allowed to have those odd games where he just stat pads a bit because he has those games where he's just sheer brilliant. Look at the Newcastle game this season. He grabbed that game by the scruff of the neck and Kelleher should have let him punch him in the face for that drop points that game. Seriously. If I was in the Liverpool dressing room, I'd have actually held, you know, when you hold a man's hands behind his back and just let someone have a free punch. Like I would have just been like, Mo, like where do you want to hit him? Chest, ribs, face? Like just give him a quick punch, you know what I mean? Because he deserves it. Because he just fucked up your man of the match performance with that piece of whatever the hell Kelleher decided to do there. So I'm not gonna lie. I think this guy is allowed to stat pad a little bit. But for assist, guys, what would you guys say is your best assist for
any of the Travellas?
Yeah. The Travellas are naughty, ain't they? Ain't gonna lie.
Pick one of them.
Do you know the one that comes to mind straight away? Do you remember when he did the Travella to Mane to settle it against Bayern the year we won the Champions League? Back post header. Back post Mane diving header. That was a beautiful cross from Mo. Travella outside the boot. Bang.
And this is what I will give Mo as well. I think we've got to give Mo credit with as well. He's not obviously slow by any means, but he's lost a bit of his pace that he had, a bit of that, you know, that quick acceleration. So what he's done is changed his game. And I don't think Mo gets enough credit for that. He's changed his game. No, Ronaldo did it. Ronaldo was a winger. He knew he couldn't always be a winger. He changed his game and just became a goal scorer and one of the, arguably the greatest goal scorer we've ever seen. You know, and Salah's not done it to Ronaldo's level, obviously, but he's changed his game, which I think we have to give him credit to. Because how many wingers do we see that try and continue to do their same thing they did from their 20s, their 30s, and it don't quite work out?
I forgot one of his... I forgot one of his goals that I think definitely needs a special mention. Was it Leicester? Or was it West Ham? The ball goes out to Shaqiri from Trent to Shaqiri.
You've read my mind. I was just thinking about that control and finish. Shit! That
goal was unbelievable.
What was the one in Europe as well when
it was West Ham? It was West Ham, really? Oh my God!
West Ham, yeah, it was West Ham.
So, and what was the one in Europe when he went round the keeper and he controlled it on his head, chest, knee, and then kicked it in?
In Europe?
Oh, do you remember? He went round the goalkeeper, controlled it with his head, brought it down on his knee, and then just tapped it in.
Yeah. Was that the second season or the first season? Right, that was
Porto.
I think so. Yeah,
that was a great goal.
People are saying Porto. Yeah, the man has got some absolute.
This is what I'm saying. The man don't actually do tap-ins. You know, it's not like
he barely does. Enz, what would you say for assist, bro? What would you say is your
honestly, bro? I'm trying to think of like he's had so many. I'm just trying.
You know the moment you said when he did up Lissandro. technically
That assist
that
was
was
bad for
that was
Cody.
a Gakpo goal, right?
Yeah.
So that's
He
an
does the
assist right
Coutinho.
there, bro.
He does the Coutinho finish. Remember when
Yeah,
Coutinho did
with
it against them in the
Gakpo.
Europa
Yeah.
League? Oh, and he just flicks it over his shoulder. Wicked. Yeah, that's got to be up there as well because that inside pass into Gakpo for a second.
After just putting man on his ass, quality goal.
Yeah, I can't think of any specific ones. I just think the Trivellas in general.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, I can't
He's
think of
got a
any.
lot. I'm thinking when he set up Nunes for the back flick goal against Madrid, that eye in the needle
He
pass.
did that again. Thing as well, Fulham as well. That same similar goal. He played it into him and then he flicked it in the back of his heel.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the Trivella passes.
His assists are great. The one he got earlier on this season for the Cody, was it Cody at the back post? That beautiful. He just put it. He cut every defender out with that pass to the back post. Yeah, Mo's got a crazy amount of. Well, he's got 111 just in the Premier League to pick from, which is outrageous when you actually think about it. Crazy. The man's stats are.
I have to sit there one day and just watch everything.
Might have to just click that and see. Yeah. Throwing goals and assists.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, as well, I'm going to be shameless before I wrap up. If anyone's seen that video going around of Nunes and Salah linking up since they've both been at Liverpool, nobody don't tell me Nunes hasn't done just as much for Salah as Salah's done for Nunes. The amount of assists that Nunes has actually got for Mo.
That's the
watching that compilation. I couldn't believe how many there were.
Since Mo's been here, it's the most. Yeah, so it's more than Mane, it's more than Bobby. You know, it's more than Trent. It's been Darwin and Salah, and you just wouldn't think it. Like Salah loves playing with Nunes.
To be fair, Darwin could be on 100 goals if he.
If he could finish it.
Of course. But this is what I'm saying. Anybody who doesn't want to accept that as a fact, it's just because you just want to hate the man. Like because it's not even. This isn't even fiction. This isn't even an opinion. It's a fact. If he's given him the most, and go and watch that compilation. And watch it without bias.
No, he does give him a lot. He does give him a lot.
Some of these assists and the play between the two of them is brilliant as well. Remember, there was one of the goals. Nunes gets the ball on the halfway line, spins his man, takes on another man, and plays a beautiful, effortless pass through for Salah to just put bottom corner. I'm like, I don't even remember him doing that. Like the touch, the control, the skill, the pace. I'm like, everybody told me he's just a bum who can't do anything. I'm like, all right.
If I'm Diaz and Gakpo, then I'll be like, hey, we're over here, you know.
They've got chemistry.
Let's hopefully maybe tomorrow they run it again.
No, Darwin's not playing.
No, I need to get one more 90 minutes of Darwin before he goes, just for me.
I got a feeling he might go Gakpo, Diaz, Salah tomorrow, by the way.
Well, do you know who I would play now that we know we pretty much won the league? I will put Nunes up front and I'll put Chiesa on the left. Just start giving minutes to players who haven't had much game time, man.
No,
that's what I would do.
You know, Slot's going to make sure he loses that one game so they don't get a medal.
Well, we got to wrap it up first, Jiv. Let's wrap it up and then we can experiment first. Let's wrap it up.
I hear you. It's always good to wrap up, right?
Yeah. I should have done it 3 times.
And on that note, let's wrap this one up, boys. It's been a pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I'm sure we will be talking more great things about Salah in the future, I'm sure. And again, it was a spontaneous one, so I appreciate you boys jumping on. Before we go, boys, starting with Ends, anything that people need to know that you're doing, let them know where they can find you as well.
There's nothing. I haven't got nothing today. I had a video out today, man. We're just chopping up the Salah contract, Virgil and stuff like that. So yeah, just football with Ends. If you guys want to come over there and without having, getting too triggered, come over there, man. Chop it up. I will trigger you. That's all I'm gonna say. Trigger one.
and will trigger you. Yeah,
he will get triggered. Yeah. But appreciate you.
No, big up, man. Jay, what you got for the people, bro?
I've not got anything on YouTube, my YouTube channel tomorrow, but I am on Big Up tomorrow doing the Rome Derby. So
yes. Make sure you join Jay for that one, people.
I'll be back on Monday on my YouTube channel, looking at the weekend and the Liverpool result and that. So.
There you go. And make sure you get over subscribe to Ends and Jamie as well. Errol, what you got coming up for the people, bro?
I'm back in the studio in here tomorrow doing the watch along for the West Ham game. So we go live at 12:40 on Redmen channel on YouTube. We did, me and Drift was part of the Red Cartel last night on Redmen 2 as well, so that's still up there at the moment. So if you want to go check that and get some other reactions to all things Salah and everything else, go check that over there. And then probably just all day tomorrow, just pumping out content for Redmen.
Really, yeah, man. Big up, man. And again, boys, absolute pleasure having you guys on the channel. And we will be back tomorrow for the game. So make sure you check us out for the game tomorrow, guys. Just quickly, while we're on the Salah subject, literally just yes or no, boys. Is Salah gonna break the 2020?
Yeah.
Is he gonna break Henry's record? What we saying?
100%.
Three more assists to go. He's already got the goals. He just needs 3 more assists. Is he gonna?
I don't think he does. I think he gets goals. I don't know.
Unfortunately, I don't think he's going.
I think he gets. I think he scores some more goals towards the end of the season. I just don't know if he get the assists.
Well, if you run it and then it's Nunes that helps him do it, it gives Nunes the goal. That'll be mental.
Hey, look, you lot don't know how shameless I'm going to be when this title's wrapped up completely. Nunes's 2 goals against Brentford won Liverpool the league. Remember, I told you. I'm going to be so shameless. So shameless. So shameless. Turning points. Everyone knows there's a moment in everyone's life where you realize that was where it all went right. And it was Nunes's brace against Brentford. Errol, just quickly, do you think Salah would do it? Yeah, yes or no? Do you think he'll do the?
I just think he will, just because I think he could just pop up with 2. West Ham.
He could do it tomorrow. To be fair.
I was going to say West Ham and Leicester. If he hasn't got at least 2 by the end of the West Ham and Leicester game, no. But if he's putting up 2 assists between those 2 games, it's done. He'll find a way between them and the last 5 games of the season. And Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal, Crystal Palace, and somebody else, he'll do it.
And now we know we only need 3 wins. I think the team's just got to go out there and get it done now.
Yeah.
And it could win it at Anfield against Spurs, which would be
yes, a guard of honor sentence.
Unless Crystal Palace, Ipswich beat Arsenal. Obviously, we can win it at Leicester. So
still get the goal.
Well, I think that will be dependent on if they do beat Real Madrid and go through. I think they'll be so concentrated on the Champions League that they'll drop points on purpose almost in the league. But if they go out, then their pride will make them start playing again in the Premier League. So I think it depends on what happens in the Champions League, really. But because I think they're through, you're probably right. They probably will rotate heavily, drop some more points in the league, and the Tottenham game probably could be when we wrap it up.
Arsenal guard of honor, you know.
Arsenal and a Chelsea guard of honor as well. If Chelsea and Arsenal both have to give us a guard of honor, that would be so sweet. So sweet. You know what I mean? But nah, people, it's been a pleasure, boys. Love as always, man. Till next time, people, big up your damn selves. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.